So this is not a typical video that I like to do because it involves a little bit of politics because the day that I'm recording this is January 6, 2022, which is a year from the insurrection that happened last year. So start your week great. Start your week with a coach. I'm your host, certified high performance coach, Sean Butner, and we're going to talk about something that'll help you advance in your life this week. So let's go. Why do I feel like I need to talk about it right now? Well, I think like many of us, I've been struggling with how to make sense of it, and we're slowly getting information figured out with the January 6th committee, and see all the noise around it with people that have a vested interest and maybe not showing it for what it is, which is a attempted coup, in my opinion. And it's just my opinion, so if you hold a different opinion from that, that's totally okay. And just, we don't need to have a discussion about it on this forum, right? We should go have a beer and then talk politics. But as I'm thinking through this, and as I'm thinking about this community and about, what I want my coaching business to be and stand for, the three words that I chose that I think really encompass what I'm trying to do here is help people find more joy in their life, more personal growth, and more impact in the world. And so as I've been struggling with what to say today and what to say about January 6th in general, from my perspective, and of course, there's a whole bunch of things behind that. It's really trying to take a breath, because I think, like most of you, I was appalled, I was disgusted, I was pretty angry about what happened at the Capitol last year. And follow-up, right? How it still seems like that there's some plans in motion to, derail American democracy, to derail our republic. And as someone that cares very deeply about this country with all its blemishes, right? Is it a perfect system? Is it a perfect representation of people? No. Is it the best that we got? Yeah. Is it imperfect? Yes. And the work of a citizen, like myself, like you, is to work on making it better, right? And I believe that it's everybody's responsibility, my responsibility, your responsibility, the politicians' responsibility, our news anchors and journalists' responsibility, the guy, doing trash, the guy running stocks, doing financial stuff. It's everyone's responsibility to leave it a little bit better than when you became a functioning adult. And I firmly believe in that, and that part of the American spirit is realizing that we can do better, and we should do better, and we should try to engage each other to do better. And so this is my probably not awesome attempt at trying to foster that idea, So where do we go from here? Like, we talk in terms of high performance, which is why a lot of people are here. So if you signed up for one of my webinars or one of my trainings, or you've seen some of my videos on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook, that's why you're watching this here. And, ultimately, how does that event impact what we're trying to do in our lives to help, advance in our careers so we can provide for our families more, so that we can have a greater legacy and a greater impact and have more abundance in our life? And they seem kind of disconnected, but it comes back to those three words that I mentioned that I've always kind of mentioned, but I haven't really connected with, I think, enough in these videos, which is joy, personal growth, impact. So joy, growth, impact. I guess that's technically four words, but add the personal. But joy, growth, impact. How does, as a high performer, how can we filter and use those words to kind of figure out how to act? And that's kind of what I've been journaling about today. and I'm trying to think, so I don't sound bitter, I don't sound pessimistic. I definitely am an optimist on how our systems worked at preventing this attempted coup and this insurrection. But we also have to realize that we know the danger now, right? So if we go through it, joy, like, how can you find joy on a day where it's really scary, really frustrating? And here's the reality, right? And listen, like, maybe you feel the same way, but we can hold more than one truth in our head, right? I can play music, I can go for a walk, I can do things that make me feel joyful today, and also say that I'm really disgusted, I'm really angry, I'm really frustrated at what happened last year, right? Like, so you can feel those feelings and you can also feel joy at the same time. And it's important to realize that, right? It's important to say, like, it's okay to feel all those things. It's okay to say, I'm taking care of myself, I'm taking care of my family, I'm doing something that, makes me feel good, and that's not right. That is something everyone should be yelling about. That's something everyone should not put up with. And we have permission to do that, right? And so, especially for someone like me who's been introverted, who generally has stayed away from religion and politics in talking day to day because there's such, like, third rail issues that get people really upset really quickly because they have really strong opinions on it. We need to actually talk more, because that leads to the second point. Like, what did we learn about last year? We learned what the danger is in our society, in our democracy, in our republic, right? We know there are forces out there that are aiming to gain power no matter what. In my observation, in my opinion, right? You could argue those facts. And again, save that for the bar. We're having a beer and we can talk one-on-one. Yelling through the internet, I don't think is my intention right now. I'm just stating my opinion and what I'm thinking about this situation. But I don't want to get into an argument. So I'm not going to. So if you're already typing out angrily at the comments below, like, they're just gonna get deleted. So, but personal growth, right? We know the danger now, and we know we can't be silent, right? That's kind of why I was saying the whole introverted thing for me. It's like, we can't just sit on the sidelines anymore. We need to get active. We need to be more vocal. We need to get loud and say this is not right. Because so many people, I think, try to box people into different labels and things, try to get people to not speak up and do something like this online. Because it's kind of scary when you have a bunch of people you've never met super angry at you, right? Nobody really wants that. And we need to speak up, because we can't let that message win, that we can bully you into silence. I fully heartedly believe in that, right? So, that's how we can learn and grow from this. And then how can we have greater impact? How can we, as mere mortals, mere citizens of the United States, or people that are just fans of the US and what it stands for and what it can stand for, even though it's taken a little bit of a beating optics-wise out there, I still think that we can have a bigger impact, right? And having that bigger impact is getting louder that this is not right. It's getting louder when people are not paying attention to the reality. They're like, oh, I'm going to choose my own facts. Like, fine, like, you can choose your own facts, and you're also being disillusioned, right? And I'm not saying that to pass judgment. I'm just saying that if you refuse to take a look at the courts and what they've said about this election lie stuff, if you take a look at, the active things that are going on there, and you're like, it's because my tribe is trying to push it that I'm okay with that, that's not okay. And we can say that very definitively, that's not okay. And you should not do that, right? And if you do, like, it's a free country, you can totally do that. Fine, but you're not gonna be listened to. You don't have a right to have reach for that idea, I think. We have to get around thinking that there's equal weight to every idea, I think. And we need to hold people responsible for the things that they say and the things that they do, right? At the very least, last year, on January 6th, if you broke into the Capitol, if you broke things or attacked people that are part of the government, you should be dealt with the law to the full extent of the law, right? And you should be writing your local politicians, you should be writing your senators, your Congress folks, asking them to make sure that to the extent that they can do it, or the extent that they can hold people accountable, that they do, right? And we need more people talking about that. We need more people activated and really getting involved in this, because it's such a big issue. We all need to do something, right? And maybe you're like, well, I could write and it's not going to really do much. And maybe you're right, but it's that act of participating in in our democracy, in our republic, in our system, that's really the call to action here, right? You want the impact, you go out and you vote. You go and you write letters to businesses that are now donating to people that supported the insurrection in Congress. You are, telling people that, hey, this is not right, and we're having a conversation that this is not right, that was not a good thing for our nation. And you keep having those discussions, and people are going to get angry at you, and that's okay, right? You don't have to engage with the anger, right? But you make the point. And if enough people are making the point and enough people are hearing that, hey, maybe this is not the right thing to happen, or maybe this isn't how it happened, it didn't happen the way that I wanted to, or not the way that I wanted to, the way that I think it did, maybe I should think more about it, right? It's something, it's a start, but I mean, getting involved in local government, I think at the end of the day, is going to have the greatest impact here, especially if you're as appalled and disgusted as I am with what happened. So, again, to recap, right? We have joy, we can hold truths, and we can do things today on January 6th and after that, bring us joy and bring our family joy and are good for our businesses and organizations. But we can also feel frustrated and disgusted and angry about this coup. Personally, for the personal growth side, again, so joy, growth, we can, know that we can't stay silent. We need to be loud about this, and we need to get activated. And then for the impact, we need to make sure we are using our votes effectively, that we're very vocal now, and people using that big lie to try to change the rules on how people vote and how votes get counted state by state, so that certain people can stay in power. Like, that's not right. We need a movement to get behind to change that, and that's what I believe. Maybe you believe differently, but at the end of the day, I think if we're more involved in local government, that's a good thing. If we're more involved in voting, getting other people voting, participating in our political system, the better off we'll be as a nation. I think it'll sort it out, even in these kind of scary times. So that's my reflection for today. It's trying, and I don't know all the answers. Like, this is me trying to suss it out. This is me paying attention to a bunch of different news sources over this past year. And that's what makes sense to me. So, not to lessen the impact of it, but I think we really need to start calling people out a lot more collectively with a broader voice on the things that happened last year. Senators, people that are higher up the political food chain, if you will, who had a part in the events that happened last year, because it's utterly disgusting. It's utterly terrible. And we don't need that, right? So I think we can do this together. I think if you talk to 3 people about what happened last year and just really had a plan on how you can participate even a little bit, whether that's in the 2022 election, which is really far off, but how are you getting involved, getting people mobilized to vote, just doing good citizen stuff, right? What can you do to leave the world a little bit better than we inherited it? That's how I'm gonna leave this, guys. So yeah, sorry if you were not expecting this type of blog, video, newsletter thing, but that's what was happening this week, you know, and I thought I needed to say something about it, just for me, you know, because I've been trying to figure out what I can do, and I'm all ears if you guys have ideas on how to get involved and how to hold folks accountable for actions outside of what's already going on. So if you have suggestions, I would be open to that. Again, you're gonna debate politics. It's probably not going to work out. So that seemed kind of ominous. I'll delete those comments. I'm not really gonna entertain that type of discussion on this platform. Yeah. So anyways, guys, hope that makes sense. Hope you're able to do something to make you feel joyful today, joyful this week. I hope it wasn't a big dark cloud hanging over your head like it kind of felt a little bit for me. And, you know, that's part of the process. We're going to have ups and downs. We can still, you know, tomorrow is a new day. We'll wake up, get back into it, and that'll be it. So, okay, that said, take care, guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Oh, live with joy, growth, and impact.